Oh my gosh, I didn't unmute myself. I don't need them anymore, but thank you. I didn't mute myself. Thank you. Hi, you can hear me now? Can you hear me now? Sorry about that. I didn't hit unmute. I'm like, my computer is like practically new and it's not working. And I was trying to get like headphones thinking that's what it was. So I'm really happy that my son was home. So yay! Yes, maybe the first lesson is to test our intuition with no sound. Yes. What did you think I was saying? What did you feel? Did you feel good? I thought I was going nuts. Oh my gosh, isn't that hilarious, Darlene? Yeah, and then finally you're like, okay, I'm not the only one. You're like, am I muted? Is the volume up? Oh my gosh. Nicole, you're here. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that everyone's like, there's like so many of you are able to make it because I know it's like 3:00 in the afternoon and stuff like that. So I'm not sure where you're from because some of y'all probably in Cali, you know what I mean? And it's noon and that kind of thing. Mary, Mary, where are you located? Are you over in Ireland? Okay, it's so incredibly exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm so excited. I don't know if you could intuitively pick that up when I had no sound, right? But I am so excited for this week. So this week is going to be a 5-day challenge, right? And I say challenge because you would be giving tasks at the end of the day, right? To really help implement what I'm telling you, right? And so how you feel. So and to give you a little more incentive to complete the tasks, I am going to be giving away prizes. So the prizes range from everything from, free readings, free healings, probably card decks. Also, I created a course, which I'm super duper excited about. And I'll be giving away some scholarships to that program and a couple of Amazon gift cards too, because I feel like, okay, maybe you need something from there. Amazon has everything. So I'll be giving away those too. So yay! Awesome, 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 awesome. And then I had already put it in the comments. That was the place to register. So if you register for this event, then I'll just be emailing you every day after we get together. So you will be emailed like the task for the day, the homework directly. You'll be getting the reminders and additional chances to win the prizes, right? Because I think if you register, you're just making it that more serious. You're making it that much more of a commitment. And I want to reward you for doing that. Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Okay. So before we get into everything, right? Everything that I have planned, all the good little tidbits and things like that, right? I first want to start by talking to you about who I am, right? I know you guys know me, but it's like I just want to let you know just a little bit of where I came from, a little bit more and deeper details, okay? So as you know, I was not always a psychic medium, right? I did not always know I had this gift. And if you're new to me, maybe now you know, right? I didn't know this stuff, right? I was super duper afraid of ghosts growing up. I was afraid of anything spiritually related. I remember Unsolved Mysteries, and they had that episode where the person could see auras, and that one like traumatized me for like months because I was like, is there really things around people that I can't see? It was crazy. So my life, as you guys know, grew up definitely more rougher, you know what I mean? A lot of challenges and traumas and things like that. Especially when I was a teenager, right? But my mom got with this guy who ended up being my stepdad, and he was a sorcerer. He was actually an Odinist. So if you know that religion, it is Odin, and then you have all the gods like Loki and Thor and things like that, right? And what ended up happening was I started getting into the tarot and I started doing spells and that kind of thing. And it was really cool in a way because I was always in spell books and I was learning all about the different kinds of spells from like the gypsies to the different types of sorcerers and the spells that they did. And I look back on that time of my life and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great because I work so much in the light now. And so there is light and there is dark, right? So I work so much in the light now all the time. And it's like, I can see why people might have some kind of experiences over there because they're not maybe working in the light, right? So I wanted to tell you that because what happened was I got rid of my tarot cards, right? I got rid of them. I was really scared to like just throw them out because I've heard stories at the time, right? So I just gave it to my brother and I'm like, get rid of them somehow. You know what I mean? Like when I moved out, I was like, just go ahead and take these cards. I don't know what to do with them. And then what ended up happening was I just lived my life. Live my life until all of a sudden my whole world went up in smoke. And what ended up happening was it was in December of 2011, my grandmother passed away, and I loved my grandma, right? It was so devastating, even though she was 83 years old. And I had issues going on with my son, and I had my stalker stalking me, trying to kill me. And then it was like, it all went away for January and most of February. And then in February, it was like my body could finally breathe. And I started convulsing and going into seizures, right? So if you read my book, Anxiety to Angels, you might have read that part. But here's the part that you might not know, right? Is that, yeah, you read about me going to the monks, right? And meditating with the monks because I was too scared to meditate. And then I started getting insight in my meditations, right? Do you remember that? I started getting a little bit of, So I started getting a little bit of the insight. Well, the thing is, I still didn't know I was psychic. I still didn't know that I was a medium. I still didn't know any of this stuff, right? I started allowing myself to watch the shows. Because I used to feel so like, oh my God, what are people going to think about me if I watch these shows, you know? So I sat there and I'd be watching the shows and I would just get so upset at like God and, you know what I mean, myself, because I didn't have those abilities. And it honestly irritated me because it's like the only ability I feel like I was given was the ability to draw, right? But how come I can't get something cool like that? How come I can't talk to dead people? How come I can't do that stuff, you know? And so I just lived that way. And, you know what I mean? I knew that my guidance inside the meditation was coming from something outside of me, but I wasn't sure what it was. So, and I was scared to tell my husband it, you know? And so like when I would tell him things as I got out of meditation, I'm like, oh, this and this and this about your feet. Sorry, he had something going on with his foot. And at the time, and I was like, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Not really predicting, but it's like, if you do this, this will help make your situation better. Right. And so I did that for years. Like, I don't know if, like, I think that I didn't know that I was psychic until 2016. So some of you guys have known me since 2018. So that means like literally within less than 2 years, I went from not knowing I was psychic to being a psychic medium to like running a business basically. Right. I went an all short period of time because once I realized how to communicate, it was like I just took off. I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. Right. So I wanted to share that with you because it is a skill that's learned. It's not really a gift. It is a gift, right? Because everything that we have, any kind of talent or skill that we have can be considered a gift, right? But it's more of like a skill. It is something that is innate to all of us when we come down here. Right? It's like calling back home. I always look at it as if you are you're on summer camp. You're at summer camp. And this is us at summer camp. And God is our parent, or spirit is our parent. Fill it in, by the way. I like to use spirit, use God, spirit, creator, you know, Gus. I love Gus, God, universe, spirit, right? So go ahead and fill that in however you want. But they are our parent. So, of course, when we're at summer camp and we're learning and we're exploring and that kind of stuff, you know, wouldn't you like be able to have a phone for your kid to call? You know what I mean? To be able to communicate with you. And so that's what spirit does with us. We have that ability to communicate back and forth, you know, but the thing is, it's like they don't want to ruin this experience for us because it's supposed to be a little bit, how I put it, ambiguous, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be like the unknown. That's why we come here, is because it's exciting and it's like, oh, what can happen? And if they made it like way too well known, then we would just be like, you know what I mean? We're just, whatever. It loses its punch. You got me? Ooh, okay. Okay. And so, one second. So that's the reason why that I wanted to talk with you today about some of the things, right? Because now, okay, I'm psychic, I'm a medium, that kind of thing, right? What I ended up doing was I ended up going to a psychic development circle. And that's how I started progressing. So as soon as I realized how to connect, I was like, oh my gosh, you know? So this time together and this week is not going to be just about like, okay, if you're doing readings and that kind of thing too. It's like developing your world so that you get that guidance all the time, right? So you constantly are in the loop, of the communication with spirit, just in case they have to tell you something, or just in case you're feeling off and, you want that communication. It's almost like having him on speed dial, but not even like speed dial, because it's just you live your life in it, right? So I just know I'm just so in tuned that anymore, it's just like, okay, I know when something's good for me and when something's not. And then if it's still hard for me to decide, then I know that I can connect to them easily, and I trust in them. And so we're going to be going through that process this week. Okay, cool. And Josie understands too. Yay! Okay, awesome. Okay, so the other thing too is today we're really going to talk about the personalized spirit communication, right? Where it's not a one size fits all. Okay, it's like I can't tell you exactly how spirit communicates with me because it could be different from you. So we're going to go over that. Okay, and another thing that will help you out is this guide that I created. Okay, so I'm just launching that guide today. It's the Lightworker's Guide to the Clairs. So you might have heard about the clairs, right? Clairsentient, clairvoyance, all those clairs, right? So what this guide will do is it gives you all of the clairs plus all these bonus clairs too. I think there's like 15 different ways of clairs, right? And it has some exercises in there for you that will go ahead and tell you what your strongest clair is, and you'll be able to see what your weakest clair is. So because spirit is going to be communicating with you through your clairs, through your clear senses, right? Through touch, through thoughts, right? Through visions, through smells, through tastes. And that's how spirit communicates with you. But it's going to be dependent on each individual person, right? So we got to do that. So that's going to help you out a lot. And like I say, I'm like, yeah, you have to sign up for my email in order to get it, but you can always unsubscribe if you don't like it that much. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal to me, but I just want to be able to help you and have it. It's like 20 pages long. It's really awesome. I went really thorough with it. Okay. Let's go a little bit back into the clairs thing, right? So that is how spirit is going to communicate with you. Obviously, we would like, right? We would like the thoughts, you know what I mean? Or we would like to hear them, right? But if we're not hearing well in our daily life, it's going to be hard for us to hear spirit. And think about it this way. It's like spirit is trying to talk to you, but if your mind is really busy and racing, it's like them trying to talk in like a really loud party. So that's why meditation is good, right? We get the thoughts down, we get the party, the music starts turning down in the party, and we can start hearing spirit better because they talk a lot through telepathy, you know what I mean? Which is through the thoughts, but then through like the sensations in your body. So, the gut feeling or, oh my God, like I'm frozen because something is happening. Like, I don't know. Right. But if we're not paying attention to our body, then we're not going to notice those signs. And the same thing with like smell. Like I literally cannot smell. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but if I go to the chiropractor consistently, I'm able to have my smell back. But if I don't go, then I lose my smell again. But when I have smells, then I know that it's spirit usually, right? So, and the way that I've learned it, and think about this with you and your past loved ones and that kind of thing, right? Is what smells associate them with you, you associate with them. Right. And there might be more than one smell. So for like my grandma, like she smelled like her spray deodorant. Right. But the thing is that I noticed that when I am not doing so good, or when I'm thinking bad, or when I'm mad at my husband or something like that, I will smell the times when maybe she didn't have that deodorant on because she's trying to get my attention. Right. And a lot of times it happens in the bathroom. It happens a lot of times when you're zoning out is when like you might get that insight. It happens a lot when you're zoning out, and it happens a lot when you go to bed. How many of you are having a hard time sleeping or find yourself tossing and turning? Have you ever like, oh man, what woke me up? I didn't hear that. Or, you know what I mean? Or what was that noise? Or, you know what I mean? I just feel, oh, that was weird. Or you just don't even know what's going on and you feel like everything is fine, but you're just still tossing and turning and that kind of stuff, right? And that's because spirit is coming to talk to you because it's the one time during the day when your thoughts are lowering and they can actually get a word in edgewise. They want to help you. Right? So if you are spending your whole day being like, oh, how come I don't hear from them? Or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You're like, I really want guidance on this. And how come no one's helping me with that? And then you go to bed, just picture the loved ones that you miss or angels and guides that you can't hear during the day that you've been calling upon. They're standing next to you in your bed and they're like, okay, we have got to get this to her. You know what I mean? Because she is like freaking out and stuff like that. And now we got to talk to her, you know what I mean? And that kind of thing. That's why I always say, and you guys can do this too, right? Is before I go to bed, I always say, I only allow 100% love and light to come into my space. And I ask Archangel Michael and my mom and my grandma. Sometimes I'm like, they can dictate who's allowed into my space when I sleep. One more thing. If you have a light in you, if you are a generous person, a loving person, or a nurturer, right? If you are someone that gives, you have this light that's shining. And it's like people just draw right towards you. You know what I mean? So it might not even be your past loved ones in the room with you. It might be the neighbors down the street or your friends. You know what I mean? Because you're the one with the light that's open. And you might only be open this much, but they know you're open. So they want to talk to you. But the thing is, too much energy like that inside of your room, even on a subconscious level, you're going to notice it. So it doesn't matter if you feel them in the room or maybe they're, if you're really good at seeing, right? You have clear seeing. You might actually see them, or they're trying to get you to see them. And it changes the energy in the room and that kind of thing. I hope you guys are with me. Right? And so I'm going to tell you another story, right? So I am sleeping. I'm minding my own business. I said my prayer. By the way, I do this for my husband and my son as well every single night. And then I imagine this golden white light going through every level and every room of my house. And there's basically almost no nights that I forget. But if I do forget, I might notice a little shift in my room. I was sleeping, minding my own business. I know I told the story before, but you got to hear it if you haven't. And I'm dreaming. And I'm a really freaking cool dreamer, you guys. I love it, love it, love it, love dreaming, right? Lucid dreaming, astral projection, all that stuff, right? So I'm dreaming, minding my own business. And I notice that someone has touched me. Someone is touching me right here as I sleep, like a spirit, right? Because there's no one on my left side and I can feel that there's not a body there. Don't ask me how. I could feel it. I'm a very, very big feeler. And so I said to myself in my dream, I'm like, Heather, you've got to wake up. Someone's touching your body. And I'm like, oh, I'm up, right? I got up and I swear to goodness, I was pissed. I was so mad. Because when you say, I only allow 100% love and light to come to my space, and you say that, you have to mean it. And I really do mean it every single time, right? It's all about setting the intention. And I was like, who is touching me? I did not allow anyone except for Archangel Michael, my mom, my grandma, sometimes my Aunt Judy to come into my space. And they're the only ones that are allowed to. And I feel like they were not upholding my boundaries, what I wanted and that kind of thing. Like I was upholding my boundaries. They weren't listening. And I was mad. And it was so funny because I'm like in my head yelling at them and that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden I looked over at my clock and it was 12:13. And 12:13, December 13th. And that is my Aunt Judy's birthday. And then I knew it was my Aunt Judy and I apologized to her. And I was so happy that she was reaching out. And, I didn't get her message that night, but I think it was just like, hey, I'm with you. You know what I mean? Like you feel me, right? Yes. Try that out with the whole 100% love and light coming into your space. Try that out. Now, I'm just going to say one thing. If you are intuitive, if you are someone that has gifts, maybe you kind of had an inkling that you've had gifts. You know what I mean? Like maybe since you were a teenager, maybe since you were born, whatever it was, maybe in the last year, right? You have to give spirit a time to talk to you. And if you don't, they're going to push through your boundaries. Does that make sense? So if you do the whole, like, okay, I only allow these people to come into my space as I sleep, right? And they're still pushing through. There's your sign, right? There's your sign that you have to be awake during the day. You know what I mean? You have to tell them, okay, you can communicate with me between 1 and 2, 2 and 4, or whatever, or just when I'm awake. Because like kind of like how it is that you've kind of like waited too long, you push things off long enough. It's almost like spirit's just like, hey, go ahead. She's never open. Like, okay. And then, of course, there's physical issues, you know what I mean, with why you can't sleep. I'm talking about the spiritual stuff, but you definitely making sure that you take care of yourself and take care of your sleep. And there was something else. Yeah. One more thing too. Yeah, the replay is going to be available. So one thing too, just to kind of remember when it, oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. I love them. I've talked to Spirit too when I talk to you guys, by the way. So a lot of this is like channeled. Okay. So yeah, the replay is going to be available. But see, today we're talking about the personalized spirit communication. And I look at that. If I would have looked in an angel book number and said, what does the number 1213 mean? They were going to give me something else. But I personalized it. 1213 is my Aunt Judy's birthday. So if you're seeing those angel numbers, the first thing that you have to do is not go ahead and look in an angel number book. It is to see if those numbers mean anything to you. Are they your birthday, a past loved one's birthday, an anniversary of a passing? You know what I mean? Are they, just significant events? Or are they your, what I call life number? Not numerology life number, just a number that comes to you to show you, hey, we're with you. That number to me is 316. Right? So that's why that we have to be personalized in our spirit communication. Okay. So in every sense, even the signs that we are getting are personalized for us. They're coming through your filter. And 1212 is your dad's birthday. Yes. So whenever you see 1212, you know what I mean? Or you just see the number 12, then you know it's probably your dad reaching out to you. 83 is the number that my grandma uses to communicate with me. I haven't really seen my mom playing with numbers that much. My mom doesn't really do that because that's her personal thing, right? She's going to probably come around in other crazy ways. So now you have your signs that are going to be personal to you, and then you're going to have signs that are personal to the way that you receive them. 316 is the time I was born. I had a really, really weird quirk when I was little, and I couldn't choose anything unless there was a meaning. So I couldn't choose my favorite color, my favorite number, unless there was a meaning to it. Does anyone else have a quirk like this? So purple ended up being my favorite flower, my favorite color, because heather is a purplish flower. Right? 316 is my favorite number because it was the time I was born. But it's kind of weird to have a 3-digit favorite number. So I always tell people 3 and 16 are my favorite numbers. Okay. And Nicole was like that. Yes, 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 yes. So now just like your signs are going to be personal, the way that you receive information is going to be personal. Right? So I go ahead and I'm extremely creative, y'all. I'm extremely creative. Like I love puzzles and stuff like that just, oh my gosh, I just love it. So spirit's probably not going to be as direct with me because I don't really get direct stuff. I miss it. Does anyone else do that too? Like the direct stuff just goes right out the window, like goes right out of your head or wherever it goes. All right. So yes. Now I kind of lost my train of thought because I was looking at the comments. Okay. Yes. Okay. Colleen is with me. Okay. And so it's the way that you receive is going to be different. So if you're a logical and grounded person, then your stuff is going to be more concrete. And also, I just have to tell you, if you're more logical and grounded, the harder it's going to be for you to get that information. So if you're a person that's definitely more intellectual, or if you're very one that needs hard facts, or if you're one that's very much like in this world, and what I mean is it's hard for you to use your imagination if you do not daydream, if you do not play and have that kind of fun, if you're very, task oriented, it's going to be harder because the muscle that is used to help communicate with spirit is the imagination muscle. I'm with you, Christine. It's the imagination muscle. Right. So it is definitely a balance because you can't be living out in woohoo here. Right. And you can't be just so logical and grounded. So if you are a logical person and you are wanting to communicate with spirit, you are going to have to try and be, use that side of your brain, your creative side, do like crafts, you know what I mean? Read fiction books. My 22 ways to get centered and connected has some of these things too. Right. But one of them is it's like, you go ahead and you read a fiction book so you can try and get, imagine it in your head. You know what I mean? Play the cloud game outside, right? And see what the clouds are made up of. Whatever you can do to really strengthen that imagination muscle. Yes. I wonder if more of you are more creative or more not, right? If you're more creative or you're more logical, I'm kind of curious. And I'm bad with signs. Yes. Well, I wonder what we're doing too when we have signs. Because the other day, like, I see one of my coworkers he walked right past me, but I was looking the other way. So my husband told me a minute later, and I was like, wow, I wonder how many times that happens with signs from us. That our spirit guide is like trying to get us to look, and we're just like, oh no, I'm over here, because just because you don't see them doesn't mean that you're not getting them. It's just that you might have to rephrase the question. You know what I mean? You might have to, obviously talk back to the signs, you know what I mean? And not getting a sign might be bringing forth, the emotions that tell you how you truly feel about it. And it actually might show you that, Spirit's not going to be that helicopter parent, and they are going to make you make your own choices. I know I hate that one, right? But it's like, what's best for me? What's best for me? And then it's like, no, this is a moment in time where you need to be by yourself and do it. Hope that makes sense. And then, yes, I can. I cannot see your name though. It says Facebook user. I think is that you, Mira? Need to be more creative. Have started to paint occasionally. Yes. And then just do it like, even like the movies that you watch and things like that, things that are creative, it's like going to a gym. Okay. So now if you do the guide, right, and then you have the clairs, now okay, I'm a big feeler. Like I'm a really big feeler, right? So it's going to be sensations on my body. I have to pay more attention to my body, right? But do I? Probably not, because I'm always knocking into shit, right? I'm always, ow, right? Not paying attention to your body, right? But I'm also like a really big, I would say, seer, right? So I know they're probably going to send me images. But I know that if I have so many thoughts and images going through my head, I need to tame that so I can see, okay, where did that thought come from? Right? Okay, I think that's weird. That's weird that I'm thinking about that, right? So once you get that clairs down, and then you say, okay, I'm logical, I need to get more creative, right? Or I'm more logical, so all of my signs are going to be more logical, right? So they're going to be using probably license plates, numbers. They're probably going to be using books, if you love music and you listen to music, they're probably going to talk to you more through music, right? If you are a painter, then who knows, when you're going by a store or whatever, and then there's a painting and it's signed by Anthony, and that's your past loved one's name, your dad's name who died, you know what I mean? Bam, that's going to be your sign. Oh, Diane. Okay. Diane. Okay. Yes. 713. My mom told me about that. I actually I have a Spirit Talk blog that I started today, by the way, guys. And I tell a story of 713. My mom used to play the 713 number in the lottery. She told me that when I played the lottery before I found out that she had cancer, right? Okay, so now, bam, we got the clairs down. We understand, more logical, got to get creative. If we're more creative, then it's like, okay, that's how Spirit's going to communicate with us, right? So I have so many of these stories from from readings that I did, right? And it's because sometimes they won't tell me straight out like their name. They'll go about in like a creative way. Like they'll show me my husband, and then I'll be like, okay, is their name Tony, or do they like baseball? Because that's what I associate my husband with, right? And it's really cool. Because when let's say you come to me for a reading, Spirit is trying to go through my filter, go through my memories, go through my experience to try and relate it to your experience and what you're going through. Right? So that's how they're trying to communicate with me. What did happen, what is currently going on, what's going to happen. You know what I mean? They're kind of using that. They're using my symbols. But when you learn to do it yourself, you kind of cut out the middleman. You cut me out, and you get all of that insight, bam, right to you. Right? So recently, as you know, my mom got cancer, right? The angels told me that she had that I need to spend more time with her before she got her cancer, right? About a week before. So I've been getting a lot of signs from my mom since she's passed away to go and like basically reconcile and talk with my dad. I've been reluctant, right? But finally it's gotten really, really strong. And I've been seeing the signs, literally a sign that had his name on it. Right. It had a lot. If you watch my Instagram stories, you probably would have seen it. It's a sign in front of a Walgreens that had his name on it, which his name is Lonnie, which is not a very, very common name, right? Loni, bam. And the thing is, like my real name is Lonnie, and his name is Lonnie, right? So it's kind of like that, even more connection, right? So bam, Lonnie. So I started talking to him. And then about a week and a half ago, he found out that he has cancer. So definitely keep them in your prayers, right? But because I personalized, since all these were personalized, I was able to get those details. And because that energy felt the same way as it felt like when my mom first had cancer, then I knew, okay, I didn't know exactly what, but I'm like, okay, I felt it. I knew there was something coming on. Okay. So this is going to be one of the hard part, right? How many of you guys love to give? Who's the givers? Who's the givers in the house? Who love to give, 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 give? Maybe you go ahead and you like to bake and give food out, caring for your family and giving a lot. Like, you might think that caring for your family is this like standard, but if you are giving away, if you're baking a lot for them or doing their laundry and stuff like that. Like, my son has not done his own laundry since he was about 10 years old, right? So givers, so many givers. Okay. How many of you find it really hard to receive? So is it hard for you to receive? And what is it that's hard to receive? Is it hard for you to receive compliments? Or is it hard for you to receive anything? Like, how do you feel like getting gifts? How do you feel with getting compliments? Not a receiver? You give way too much. A lot of us give way too much and we don't take enough. Yeah, I don't ever get back, but I learn to deal with it. Yes. Yes, me too. Uncomfortable. I used to always make these snotty remarks. I didn't mean to be snotty, but it was like I didn't like it when people complimented me. It made me feel really bad. You know what I mean? It was like, oh wow, you're a really good drawer. And I was like, well, you're a really good drawer. You know what I mean? You can draw this. And I'm like, oh no, no, no. Like it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Like I don't even like. It made me feel so uncomfortable. And then one day at work, I got in trouble for the way that I responded to someone's compliment. So I had to just start being like, thanks. Like, yeah, thank you. Hard time to receive. It's nice to give. Yes. It's hard to ask for help. Oh my goodness. And people take advantage. It's easy to receive now that I'm older. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yes. And then Kathy is like, I love it now, but took a long time. Yeah. Make excuses that what they say isn't true. Yes. Receiving a compliment makes me feel uncomfortable. Yes. And then imposter syndrome. That's imposter syndrome when you feel like you are pretending to be someone that you're not, for sure. And so I wonder if you guys know where I'm going with this, right? So it's when you can't receive even a compliment, or like if your spouse gets up or, goes to the kitchen to get a drink of water or whatever, and you're thirsty too, you could just literally say, hey, would you mind, but it's like, oh no, you would never dare do it. You know what I mean? You just wait a few minutes or you just go get it yourself. Right. But when we do that, we are subconsciously blocking our receiving capabilities, if you will. You're blocking receiving. And the more that you block and the stronger your energy you are to blocking the receiving this, then the harder it's going to be for you to receive. And this has a trickle effect. So not only in my case, like I'm trying to say now, is that if you can't receive a compliment, just someone saying, hey, you did a good job, or that's nice, your hair looks good today, you know what I mean? Anything like that, then it's going to be really hard for you to receive insight and spirit messages from spirit. Just because it's like, just imagine like an antenna walking around and you are just like, you're dimming it, you know what I mean? You're dimming it. You're like putting the energy around. Like, I know I have an antenna here, but you know what? Like I have all this energy around it that says that I'm not open to receiving. I don't like it. It's not good. That kind of thing. You're putting it out there. Yes. So now it's kind of like I learned something, I think it was like last year, and it just totally changed my world, right? Is that receiving is a feminine trait. Masculinity is giving. Isn't that crazy? Because the majority of women, think about the women in your life. Isn't like a majority of them like the givers? But it's not. It is actually men are givers. Women are supposed to receive. Right. And so it's like, think about it. Like, maybe some of you guys can relate to my story. It's because I grew up like having to be independent. You know what I mean? I had to live in my masculine energy and masculine energy is all about, straight to the point, working hard, doing the task, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Right. So to look at most guys, you know what I mean? Logical in the grounded way. And you know what I mean? Get this done, that kind of thing. With receiving, with a feminine energy, it's more about playing playful, being creative, you know what I mean? Being in that zone, that fun place. Yes. And so many of us women, and I'm sorry, Mike, you know what I mean? Mike's like probably one of the only guys on here. So when you're one of those women that have to be independent and take care of things, and you're living your masculine energy, which is all about giving. And then it's like, what about your femininity over there? Like, I don't know where the hell my femininity is. I grew up with my sister moved out when she was younger, and my little sister went to go live with her dad when she was really young. So I grew up with all brothers. I have 7 of them, or I don't know. There are 7. So anyways, I grew up with all that masculine energy. And so it's like, of course I wouldn't know how to receive. But the thing is, we have to learn how to receive in order to receive spirit guidance. What happens, and no one ever talks about this, is that your personal life, it's reflecting your spiritual life all of the time, right? I learned this when I was practicing my mediumship. It was like, I wasn't good at getting names in mediumship for the longest time. During readings, I really, really wanted to get names. But the thing is, during my daily life, I was not good at names. I was not good. I could not remember someone's name to save my life. But once I started remembering people's names in my life, I started doing better in my mediumship. And so it's more like, the more that you learn to receive in your daily life, then the more that you'll be able to receive from spirit guidance. Whether it's you wanting to do readings, or you reading yourself, or you just being able to receive that guidance on a daily basis. Yes. A lot of us all had to be independent, right? So once you start small with receiving, then all of a sudden it's going to change that energy, and you're going to be more open. Yes, always had to be independent, right? And also, I just have to tell you too, that receiving, a lot of the times, it goes a little bit deeper. And we're going to talk about this in the course. So this is not a sales pitch, but I just want to let you know, with the course that I created, it takes you from, the fear that you have from opening up to your gifts, and we take you down, I take you down this 9-week journey, right? And we go deeper in each aspect, right? And one of them is that when you can't receive, and a lot of times it has to do with a worthiness factor, right? If it's not worthiness, and it's some kind of lack mentality, right? To where it's like, oh, it's that pessimistic way of thinking. Yes, I love the light bulb moments. Yes. And so that's something for you to think about. I don't want to go that deep today, because it can go really deep with like the worthiness and where that comes from, why you are so reluctant to receiving. And a lot of it could be because if you grew up having to be independent and that kind of stuff, right? You might have gotten resentful. You know what I mean? You got like, oh, I have to do everything myself. You know what I mean? Or you were told, even when you try to do something, that you weren't good enough, and that kind of stuff. Or you had passive aggressive people around you. That one I think is one of the worst ones. If you had passive aggressive people, because then you couldn't even take a compliment because you knew that it wasn't true. Or if you had liars, that kind of stuff. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now, all right. So far, does anyone have any questions with what I said so far? I want to make sure you guys are okay. Yeah, I'd rather do myself, right? But the more, like, seriously, just start with a small little task, like a little bit of receiving, and that will go a long way. And by the way, I said it bleeds into everything. It bleeds into like the law of attraction. It bleeds into the manifesting and things like that. Because if you've been trying to like work manifesting and you haven't gotten past your receiving block, it's not going to work. And you become passive aggressive as a result. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's so hard not to get into some of the bad habits of others, It's so hard. Okay. All right. Because we're about to get to like the homework part, right? So in the Rise into Your Power group, there's going to be a bingo. right? So there's going to be a bingo thing. And if you're on the link to register, and Danette, I'll add you. If you're on the link to register, you'll be getting sent the bingo in your email, and it has little things you can do on there. Okay. And then you just check it off. And then when you get a bingo, then just post it into the Rise into Power group. And then you'll be entered in a chance to win one of the goodies, right? One of the prizes. So that's going to be the first thing, is that bingo, right? And if you have any questions about the bingo, what's on it, then just, comment it on the Rise into Power group, tag me, that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you the reason why, because each one of them is just one little small thing that can help you get into your spiritual communication. Okay. And then the other thing too is a couple of questions. Okay. And you know what? Let me see if I can pull it up, because it's going to help you. So I think there's like 4 or 5 questions on this. And of course, my computer is going to go slow. So it has ask a friend what helps you receive advice, right? Because that's another way too, right? Because if you're talking to your friend and then she makes sense with something, so maybe, she has to be more logical to you, or maybe she has to, talk about someone else, you know what I mean? And that helps you, see how you relate, right? All right. And then write down your strongest clairs, right? If you get the guidebook, so that you can know, okay, this is how spirit communicates with me. I'm a really big feeler, or, I'm a really big smeller and I don't pay attention to my smell. Now you can pay attention to it, right? How open are you to receiving? And then it's like going a little bit deeper with it, right? Like, okay, how open am I? And then maybe even like make a promise to yourself that you're going to be a little bit more open than you have, right? I think that's because a majority of people are, someone said, I cannot see everyone's comments. I think it's because a majority of people are in the page, not the group. I think you're in the group, right? And so then the last question too is, what does communicating with spirit mean to you? Okay. So communicating with spirit, like, what does that mean? Right? So it's like, what would that mean to you if you could communicate with spirit, right? If you could, have maybe the little insights like I do, the little tidbits, or if you could, really, I don't know, like, how is communicating with them and living your life knowing like, okay, they're right there, and they're going to help guide me. And whenever they're quiet, it's like, okay, I know they're quiet for a reason. Right. And I tell you what, like I said, it's not just about readings, doing readings too, living your life in it. Like, I have an 18-year-old son who started driving, and I am so excited because I can connect to the angels, or I can connect to him, and I can make sure he's okay, and I can actually sleep because he gets home later than I'm sleeping by the time he gets home. Right. But I don't have to worry about that because I'm like, oh, he's here. I'm like, okay. I trust in it. So you have a little bit more of a, I'm so relief, right? Oh, hi, Shauna. Okay. Yeah. So with the bingo, you post it into the Rise into Power group, right? Make your own little thing once you get it done, right? It might take you a couple days to get it done. That's fine, right? I'm not going to give prizes away from the bingo until the end of the week. And then the homework, I'm going to be posting it into the Rise into Power group, and you can just comment on the post. Okay. And so tomorrow, you stay tuned to see what I'm giving away tomorrow. It's going to be awesome, right? And that's when we're going to start, right? We're going to start doing the fun stuff tomorrow. Yes. And I love how Colleen said, more secure about life. Yes. It's really awesome. Like, I don't know how anyone, it's so amazing when you have this, this faith, that kind of thing. Not even faith. It's just like you just come consumed by it. Okay. Diane, this is someone. Mine is all about my dreams. Okay. And then, yeah. Do we send the answers, or is it just for us? Okay. So now that's the thing, is that the questions that I ask, right? They might be personal. If you want to share them, please do. That'd be amazing. I think it might help out others, but if it's personal, then you can just say, hey, I'm done. Right? Like, oh, did it? That kind of thing. Yeah, definitely. In your bliss. I love that, Kim. Yes. And I'm not sure I told you this or not. I know a lot of you guys already know because you guys are close to me, but it's like, this challenge is to help celebrate the launch of my new website, which, by the way, isn't it funny that I chose, it's The Real Heather Danielle, because of all the spammers out there and all the ones pretending to be me and that kind of stuff. So it's The Real Heather Danielle. And so I had that spirit talk up there. I think there's like 2 of the articles now, which is igniting your intuition. You can read. And then there's another one about how to choose a perfect oracle card deck or tarot card deck for you. No, everyone can't see the comments. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that, Michael. And so I'm really excited about that. And there was something else. So we have the guide. I already told you about that. Let me know if you need the link. If it hasn't let you register for this event and you want to get those daily emails and stuff, then just let me know. Just reach out to me, and I will add you. And the course is actually up for pre-sale right now. So with the pre-sale, the first 10 people to get the course, you will be able to have a free session with me and also free Voxer support. I'm going to give you guys free Voxer support. So Voxer support is an app that you can download on your phone and you can download on your phone, and then it's like text messages. And then I'll get back with you in 24 hours all throughout the course. So anytime you have a question, you can just be like, Heather, help me. And I could be like, okay, here's what to do. So I actually was only going to give that to my coaching students for free, but Spirit just told me to give to everyone. So the first 10 people who register for the course will be able to get that free Voxer support for me, like this, you know what I mean? Like, hello, Heather, and a free coaching session too. So yes. Let me do this. And then, do you guys have any comments about today? Like, do you guys have any questions? I thought it was really good. Tomorrow, we are going to go into more of the trusting it, right? That's so weird. Let me know if you can see my thing, my comment. We're going to go more into trusting your intuition. Okay, so like that's one of the biggest things is like, okay, how do I trust what I'm getting? You know what I mean? How do I know if it's right? You know, that kind of thing. So tomorrow, that's really where our focus is going to be, right? And so I did put a comment. It's about my course, right? The realheatherdanielle.com/course, right? And right now it's at like a discounted rate too. And then it doesn't start until July. And by the way, during the course too, we're going to be doing live coaching sessions every week. So you get a lesson for the week, and then you also get a live coaching session, right? A group coaching session every single week. So it's really cool. So you just have to check it out. You know, if you have any questions, just let me know, right? Oh man, it's so crazy. Okay, and then Jay said Facebook bug, need to refresh page just to see comments updated. Yes. And then yes, too. I'll be giving away free scholarships to the course. So if you end up buying it and you're like, oh, wait a second, I won it. I'll just refund you. It's no big deal, right? And then there's lots of really cool things with the course. You just have to look at it and then just let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Just think about how deep that we went today. And this is really going to take you deeper. I call it like no light worker, no psychic left behind, you know? And then there's also something too that you get for free with the course. And that is Psychics Anonymous. Okay. And Psychic Anonymous, it's going to be like like 4 sessions, you know what I mean? And it's going to be really cool and detailed too, right? Oh, and by the way, in case you guys are wanting the price, right now it's $222, which I understand like $200, but think about it. You with me for almost like 3 months, you know what I mean? I know it's 9 weeks, but we have a coaching mixer, you know what I mean? You have a certificate of completion, and then you will have a student account and you can go back and listen to everything and that kind of stuff, right? So if you think about it, it's not even 2 readings with me, you know? So it's like, you don't even have to have me on call. You can have yourself on call. Right. And then look, you'll have me on call too, because if you are one of the 10 people, then you'll get the Voxer support too, along with a free one-on-one session with me. So it's really not that bad at all. But I had so much fun today, guys. Let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments, and I'm going to send over the email right now. And I'm also going, and by the way, I do have payment arrangements too. So if you guys need a payment plan, then reach out to me. I just haven't put it on my website yet, but I have that. Okay. And I love Rachel. 222 is very reasonable. Yes. Okay. Plus a scholarship from one amazing student. Yes. 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 And 222, you like at the coming together, you know, that kind of thing. And yes, I hope you guys loved it. So I'm about to send over the email. If you registered, Danette, I'll make sure you're on it. And then I will post the homework also in the Rising to Power group. Okay. I love you guys. Yes. And to sign up for the course for the pre-sale, it's actually going to be July 1st. So you guys have some time. Yeah. For the pre-sale, it's July 1st. So you guys have some time. Mwah. Will it be more on demand? Will it be more on demand? I don't understand that question. It's like going to have a 1 hour session of like insight, and then it's going to be 1 hour coaching. Yes, and I did not find my wedding ring. Did not find it yet. Yes, it's going to be therealheatherdanielle.com/course, but it's really easy to see it once you guys are there. Okay, that's an ice cream truck. I was going to say, certain days and times. Yes. So the lesson will be pre-recorded and uploaded on Wednesdays, okay, for the course. And then the coaching call will be on Mondays at 6 p.m. And then, of course, there's replays for everything. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Rachel. You're so awesome. Oh, man, Teresa, you got to watch it. It was freaking awesome. But yeah, just let me know. Just reach out if you guys have any questions, okay? And I'll talk to you guys later. Mwah.